I'm going to go ahead and call us to order. Sarah, can we have a roll call, please?
Adams.
Here.
Berlin.
Here.
Carrier. DeCiani.
Here.
Eckhoff. Hart.
Here.
Henry.
Here.
Mendrick.
Here.
Rutledge.
Here.
Spellman.
Here.
White.
Here.
Do we have Kevin from the clerk's
We
office?
do, that's me.
Welcome. Kevin will be joining us while the clerk of the circuit court is out on leave. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nothing under chair remarks. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Can I have a motion in a second, please, to include member DeCiani? He is remote this morning for childcare issues. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Welcome, member DeCiani. Thank you.
Everybody, thank you.
Do we have any public comment this morning? No public comment. Next up, I'll take a motion on to approve the minutes of our regular meeting Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. Second. Any comments or questions or corrections? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next up, we have budget transfers. This is a budget adjustment totaling $35,503 coming from a few different pools in order to cover the costs of unbudgeted COLA increases as well as some retirement benefits to close out fiscal year 2021.
I'll move. Second.
Okay, any comments, questions about this item? We don't need a roll call, correct? No, right? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next up is our procurement requisition, TEP 51-22, recommendation for the approval of a contract to SHI International Corp. for the procurement of hardware and licensing of network equipment to expand the courthouse wireless system. So a total of $92,758.42 per lowest responsible bid and is an ARPA item.
Second.
Anthony, did you want to make any comments on this?
I just wanted to remind the committee members, this is related to ARPA. This is the cellular access and Building 505. And I think the biggest thing that you should be aware of is that originally we projected a budget of $130,000 and now it came in at $92,000. So we're always looking to save when possible. In this particular case, the bidding process worked the way it's supposed to, and we get the best price.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this item? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, motion carries. Next up are our IT project updates we previewed at our last meeting. I'll throw it over to Anthony.
Thank you very much. If I can bring it up. Okay. All right. So in a few of our previous meetings, I mentioned to you committee members that I would come in periodically to provide you with updates on IT projects, specifically the ones that you've approved or that we've talked about. The IT department has probably over 50 projects lined up that we're working on. A big chunk of them are operational projects, but some are enterprise-related projects that affects either the entire county or big specific group of either our departments or elected officials. Those are the ones that I will provide you with updates on from time to time, those big ticket items. So there are 4 of them that I'd like to give you an update on, starting with our Acela online permitting project. So this particular project, the board approved managed services for this implementation. I think it was November or December, beginning of December, I can't remember the exact date. So I wanted to let you know that this project is at completion. We're coming in a little over the initial go live date, which was in November. We just decided to extend because there were additional items that we needed to complete. DOT and building and zoning weren't 100% comfortable in November. So we worked with the vendor to extend the implementation at no additional cost to the county. We will be completed in a little over a week, which is a great thing. We've decided to add additional support to the implementation. So once it goes live, to ensure a a smooth transition and handoff. There's going to be 3 weeks of the vendor being on board to help us get us up to speed, make sure that building and zoning and DOT and Public Works are all comfortable before we transition over to the new application. And the immediate benefits, which I believe most of you guys know, now we'll have an online permitting system that's paperless. It allows online permits and it integrates with various different departments. It integrates with building and zoning and also with Public Works and so on and so forth. So that's the first one. Any questions before we move on? Okay. All right. Project number 2, which has a lot of automation here. So is our website redesign project, which you guys have heard a lot about. We've made a lot of progress since my last update on where we are. We started by pulling together a comprehensive scope by soliciting input from elected officials, department heads, and content managers via surveys and other sources. So we had a great comprehensive scope to start with. We also issued a RFQ, request for qualifications, because we wanted to make sure that we identified the right companies to help us implement this solution. We're a large organization, we're complex, there are a lot of different players in this implementation. So we were able to do that. We were able to get 16 proposals and we vetted 10 of those proposals. So 6 of them did not meet our qualifications or our requirements. So we have 10. The next step in the process is for us to issue an RFP, I'm sorry. More comprehensive solicitation. We're gonna post it on our website. We're working hand in hand with Chris Hopp and our procurement department to issue the solicitation. Hopefully within the next 30 or 45 days. Our goal is to pick an implementation partner. Based on the feedback that we got through the RFQ process, we identified that this process could take 6 months to 12 months to implement. So we'll know after we issue the RFP, we select a vendor, the exact implementation date, but I think we're in good shape. When I came to you guys a few months ago, I think I had an implementation date of February of 2023. We believe that we'll be able to implement it before then. So we're right on schedule for that February 2023, but there's a chance we may be able to come in even before then with a new website. All right. Third implementation is our property tax project. Wanted to bring the committee up to speed on where we are there, working hand in hand with the treasurer, Paul, and some of our other business units to move this project forward. I think we are in good shape. We have an anticipated implementation date of July of 2020. Tyler Technologies is confident in that date, and we are holding them accountable and responsible. The team meets on a regular basis a few times a week to go through the project schedule, to kind of work through the project tasks. Couple things to highlight here. Number one, the entire team is actively engaged and working together in a very cohesive manner. I think that's important to mention. In order for us to be successful and hit this date, we have to work together, and the team is doing a great job, from the business to the technology team to the vendor. So that's a positive. A couple of things I wanted to highlight though as watch items, things for us to keep our eyes on. Number one, go live date and data needs to be validated as soon as possible. So we're going through data validation. We've done one iteration of data validation. We're going through a second, and that's very important. The data means everything. So moving the data from the mainframe over to the new system, but making sure that we have clean data that works is super important. So that is a big item. The second one, which is the go live date. So July 7th is the date that we selected, but we need to ensure that we meet every milestone along the way, right? And we're a little behind schedule. We're about 49% complete, and we have 51% more to go within a very short period of time. July will be here within a couple months. So we have a lot of work to do within a short period of time. So I wanted you all to be aware of that. System interfaces and integrations are always one of the most complex parts of big implementations like this. So we're working where the team is trying to plan out those integrations and interfaces. And again, we have about 6 months for us to work through them, make sure they're in place before this solution goes live. And then the last one is testing is super important for any major software implementation. You don't know if you think it's in great shape, but the users have to tell us it's in great shape by testing the system, making sure it works the way they need it to work. Currently, Tyler has 25 days set aside for that. We're not sure if that's enough time, so we're trying to work with them to see if we need to add any additional time for us to test, validate before we go live. So that's IS World, property tax implementation. And fourth, but absolutely not the last, in terms of important project that we're working on is the cybersecurity implementation and action plan. As you all know, we requested funding through ARPA for cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a hot topic in all organizations, whether private or public, currently today, because of all of the security issues through via ransomware and other malware. So here's where we are. So we, after working with our risk management team, we identified that there were some areas that we needed to focus on for cybersecurity and focus on them quickly. So we did that. We implemented MFA for VPN access months ago, a long time ago, actually starting around the time the pandemic hit. We started with some of those, putting some of those security precautions in place. So we're in good shape there. And also the employee self-service was already in place. So that's a good thing. But recently, as you all know, we deployed also multi-factor authentication for email, to harden our email, to make it more secure. A lot of viruses and malicious attackers get through email, right? So email participants click on the link, it opens up access to their systems, and then that opens up access to our entire network. So deploying that has made us a lot more safer, thanks to the 18th Judicial, who's already implemented MFA for email. We recently implemented, and we're now working with the Sheriff's Office for them to also implement it within their environment. So we also initiated load zone assessment, which is important to us. This is recommended by Beasley, the cyber liability insurance company. It was part of their assessment and part of their recommendation. What this does is the assessment lets us know where the major points of vulnerability are, and then we take that information and implement a plan to address it. So email hardening is one of those big ones we talked about. I just talked about that a second ago, how important it is to make sure that we're safe when we're responding to emails. That assessment is going to take 4 to 6 weeks to complete, but it'll let us know if we have any holes or any challenges and how we should fix those things if we do. And then ransomware assessment, right? You all know about ransomware and how it is impacted so many organizations. It can be extremely costly if it's not addressed. So we're also doing that assessment. That one takes 4 to 6 weeks for that to be completed. Long-term activities, I think, are important for you to be aware of. We are issuing RFPs to provide expertise that we don't currently have in-house to the table here in DuPage County. So we have created our initial RFP, which is really for the assessment of our environment and an action plan to address it. That RFP will go out within the next couple of weeks. And then after we complete the assessment, the vendor helps us create a very comprehensive plan, cybersecurity plan and action plan. Then the next step is to do a second RFP, which is to engage a managed services organization to help us with proactive threat prevention. So scanning for threats before they happen. and also incident management. So if something does happen, we have them to help us respond to that incident quickly, harden our security, and make sure that we're good to go moving forward. So that's the next big RFP. As soon as we're done with the first one, we'll move on to the second. And then the last is after we have all these things together, and we've started some of this already in-house, but it's good to have a third party who focuses on cybersecurity to help with this, but they're going to help us with a longer term cybersecurity roadmap and plan for the county. One item I just want to highlight, I think it's very important, and that's the item highlighted in blue there. In order for us to be successful, everyone who's on the county network needs to work together towards that common goal of protecting the county from cybersecurity threats. Okay, so hackers don't see different organizations. They don't see the treasurer. They don't see the auditor. They don't see the circuit court as separate entities. They see us all as one, and they're all going to try to go after all of us. So we need to work together as a collective team to harden and secure our environment from these malicious actors. So that is it in a nutshell. Just wanted to make sure that you're aware of what we're working on, show you that we're making a lot of progress. From time to time, I'm going to switch these up, so Stella will fall off because we'll have it completed. Another project will be added on, but I want to always keep you abreast of what we're working on. Any questions?
Any questions for Anthony? All right, awesome. Thank you so much for that great update.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any items to discuss under old business? All right, seeing none. Anything under new business? All right, without objection, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.